it all in. And I want to say an extra special hello to Vicky's mail order clients. Jen, you're doing excellent. Jill, you're doing excellent. Keep it up. Chocolate. Anybody else relate to that at one point or the other in life?
Yeah.
Yes?
That's not life, it's daily.
Yes.
Melissa,
Yep.
and I just have a hard time with sweets, period. So, and
Got it.
chocolate for sure, is that,
Sweets
Big one.
and see above. Cool. Thank you.
Debbie? I'm the chocolate thing, yeah.
We have a little theme here.
If it's not there, I'm good with it, but if it's there, it's calling my name. That's what I know.
If it's not there,
I don't miss
Debbie,
it.
will you remember that statement? If it's not there, I'm good with it. If it's there, it's calling my name. Remember that, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And
Mine is mostly like if I get upset. It used to be that, you know, if I was around, like I said, parties or whatever, I would, you know. But it's been mostly since I haven't worked. But things that I used to, that, like, the peanut butter cakes and so forth, it used to be I would grab it, mainly around Halloween time. I'm not interested anymore, but I still have that desire.
so, May, can we put for yours kind of emotional comfort?
Yeah.
Cool, because I think everyone can also relate to that, yeah? Okay, and in the corner.
Hi, I'm Audrey.
Hi, Audrey.
This is my first class ever.
Hey, good
I
start,
like
good start.
to eat chocolate all the time, and sometimes even when I go to bed at night, I will wake up just because I have the craving of sweets.
Oh, boy.
Gotcha. Class or a meeting, there's often a theme, and it's just interesting how many of you have the chocolate aspect and then the emotional, just the emotional comfort aspect, combined with the visual or auditory or smell stimuli. Like, it doesn't matter to me when I don't see it or hear it or smell it, but when I do, oh, I want some, right? So that's a perfect lead-in for the direction we're going to go for class today. So thank you very much for providing that. And I do want to comment that it's no accident. I don't know that we did it on purpose, but consciously, but unconsciously, to have a lick the sugar habit right before our Halloween cooking class, which is sweet, is excellent. And it is no tricks, just treats cooking class. So the cooking class will be, how do you feed that part of yourself that may want a little sweet, a little this, a little that. Hey, come on in. Hi, how are you? Hey. Have a seat anywhere you want. How can we feed that part of ourselves and still stay to the bigger vision of what we want? So you all and we all know that sugar is an extremely quick fix. Sugar, don't think, eat it, done, right? Versus losing weight, becoming healthy, getting off medications, which is a long-term goal that everyone in this room wants, yeah? So I just want to mention, by the way, this title, Lick the Sugar Habit, is from a book actually called Lick the Sugar Habit by Nancy Appleton, PhD, that I would highly recommend. And I use the title here just because it's cute and it fits. You want to lick that habit, but we're licking, eating, you know, sugar dissolves in the mouth. Nancy's theory, which she proves quite eloquently in her book, is that when we eat sugary foods, over time we develop a little bit of an allergy, and that sugar that we've eaten with other foods links to that. So you know how in our culture now, it's all about, oh, I'm sensitive to wheat, I'm allergic to wheat. Well, what is it about wheat? And people are now saying, is it how wheat has been genetically engineered back from the original days? Welcome, have a seat. Back from the original time, or the original wheat, one kind was called einkorn. You know, is that wheat different? Well, Nancy proposes that when you combine sugar with another food and keep putting them together over time, you will also develop a sensitivity to that food. So what do we combine sugar with in our culture mostly? I'm looking for something. Huh?
Something salty.
Something salty, yes. It's very addictive. What else? Huh? It's in chocolate, yes. Would people want chocolate so much if there wasn't any sugar in it? It's very bitter, isn't it?
Isn't sugar
Soft
almost
drinks,
in
lemonade.
everything?
Isn't sugar almost in everything? In the American culture, sugar is in anything almost with refined flour. So what's refined flour? What do we got for refined flour, guys?
Cake, cookies.
Cake, cookies, pie, bread, bagels,
Cereal.
donuts, cereal. So I'm proposing to you that for many of us here, we began a biochemical relationship to sugar when we were young. Anybody besides me ever have their mom feed them sugar sandwiches? Huh? Right, they were good, they were addictive. So white bread, butter, white sugar, roll it up, nom nom nom. Who knew?
Oh, I remember.
What can I say? Some people are like, no, I had mine with cinnamon. So my point is that even 200 years ago, even 3 to 4 generations ago, before the sugarcane industry and the sugar beet industry, sugar was very rare. And if you read Michael Pollan's book where he talks about the omnivore's dilemma, excuse me you guys, oh,
That's you.
recording phone, yeah, where he talks about the omnivore's dilemma, originally, sorry guys, originally the word sweet, I'm pressing the decline button. Do as I say, don't do as I do. If your cell phone is on, reach down and turn it off before it goes off. Anyway, originally the word sweet actually meant a quality of being alive. So you know when the youth today say, oh, I just got accepted at such and such school, sweet. Back in the day, when our country was being established, that literally meant life is sweet. And sweet was rare. So sweet was the honey you could get from bees, and it wasn't easy necessarily to collect honey. Sweet was the natural sweetness when a fruit or a vegetable was at perfect ripeness. And you all know from being on program, once we get rid of that sugar in the body, in the metabolism, which usually takes how long?
3 days.
About 3 days. Natural foods become sweet again. Yeah? So in terms of licking the sugar habit, our goal, every single one in here, is to keep clear enough of sugar that you can enjoy the true sweetness of life in the foods that come naturally from the earth and the trees and our natural foods that we eat on program. So then you may say, well, yeah, it's that 3 days, right? Because when you touch sugar to your tongue, what usually happens? If you have a little bit of sugar, you want more, right? So generally, what's your decision? If we were to say have no sugar at all, if you're at a social event or something like that, like Carmen was talking about, or have just a little bit, just so you get the taste of it, which is the better choice? Have just a little bit or have none?
Little.
Dan's like little.
Why? I think it's if you're what you call that?
Highly sugar sensitive?
Well, no, if you have self-control.
Yeah.
But I could get it, I can take a little bit.
All right, so Carmen is bringing up an awesome point. If you have self-control, I can take a little bit. Have you ever heard a heroin addict say, just give me a little bit of heroin?
Yeah.
Or anyone here in this room that has struggled with alcohol or has someone in your family that has, just one little glass of wine, one beer? So what happens if you have a little bit? And here's the thing, biochemistry always triumphs over willpower. So if you've ever been in that situation where you've had a little bit of sugar, I'm just going to take a half of this favorite trigger cookie I've had since childhood. I'm just going to take a half of it. And then you set it down and you're sitting there near your party and you're talking with your friends and your hand starts going like this and it reaches and you're like, no! Yeah. And it goes in your mouth and 6 cookies later you're like, why did I do that? That is a beautiful example of your brain, your unconscious brain, taking over your conscious will. Yes?
I'm having that trouble with diet gum, you know, sugar-free gum.
Beautiful example.
You know,
One piece, two piece, three piece,
yeah,
four piece.
I start out with one, and I like, and I know that's what it is, I like the sweetness, you know.
Yes.
After I've chewed it all out, I won't get rid of it and get another piece.
So that is a beautiful observation. Everyone in this room has a different level of what we'll call sugar sensitivity. If you are highly sensitive for many, many reasons, which we don't have time in a half hour, but which we'll explore further as classes go on, sometimes even sugar-free gum, even that sweet, stimulates the brain. So let's do a little brain chemistry. So far, we've gotten to the fact that we come from a culture where several generations ago, not only did we not have refined sugar or refined flours or processed foods, but we also were much more physical, so we were able to burn off glucose. With the introduction of sugar, which originally was super expensive, and then now low, and now, as you mentioned, it's in many, many, many foods. It is not in, by the way, if you shop the perimeter of the grocery store and relearn how to eat from nature, it's not in those foods except naturally. But if you look at our culture, here's the ring around the store, your veggies, your deli, your lean good stuff. That's like what, 1/4, 1/6 of the store? In the middle, which is the majority of the store, is all of the crap. So I just want to, hi guys, come on up front. So I just want to support each of you to say, if you have sugar addictions, if you find that you're struggling with cravings, and you find that when you go to parties there's so much junk food and it's hard to resist, you're normal. And for you to be here at Metabolic, hey guys, at Metabolic, you are making a new normal. And that is why, I'm like, to our mail order people as well, that is why coming in twice a week is so key. We have had a lifetime, in our particular generations, right here, of going to buffets and potlucks and social events where healthy foods just are not the thing. Our culture is changing. The more there are of us in this room that go out and demand healthy foods and whole grains and say, we'll buy organic if you give us the right price for it, the more our culture starts to change. So now, you can go to a lot of restaurants and get healthy foods, unless you're driving cross country and you're stuck in those little towns where we've all been there, right, where the culture hasn't yet changed. So when you struggle, and I'm just going to bump down to number 3, get support. Even get support before you struggle. So when you know you're going to a social event, come make a plan with your consultant. Because when you get that support for the part of you that's going for the long-term goal, you would be amazed at how strong you can be. The goal is to not trigger the brain chemicals that want you to eat more sugar. And for some of you, it's even steering clear of sugarless, sugar-free gum. For some of you, sugar-free gum might be a lifesaver. Only you can determine that with the support of your consultant. So if you come in and go, geez, I've been struggling all week, and your consultant says, name everything you had. Well, I had just a little bit of X on Tuesday night. Suddenly on Wednesday, I was wanting this and this and this and this. You know you've had a little trigger. And by the way, this is a lifetime thing, guys. And we are, therefore, creating a new path for the rest of our life. And that's why we call it a lifestyle change. You know, there is not a magic pill. And sometimes I think even our herbs and vitamins, people will say, well, I've been taking my Cortitrim, I've been taking my enhancer. Yeah, but have you been on program? Doesn't the pill do it all by itself? We wish that were so. Otherwise, one pill, everyone's happy, but that's not true life. And you know, that's not really the joy of the journey either, because every time you take a healthy step away from sugar, it builds up the brain biochemicals, and there are 2 that I'm going to mention here today, serotonin and dopamine. So after a while, saying no makes you a heck of a lot happier than saying yes. So all you need to do is stick close to your program, stick close to your consultants, so that